Good morning, Gigi. Good morning, everyone. Avec Luke, how are you? Good morning. I'm going to click the share button here. Feel free to do the same. Sending. Telling people it's high time for shenanigans. High time. Hey, Billy, good morning. Hello. I was just thinking when I was texting you yesterday, checking in and whatnot, I was like, I haven't seen her in Bhakti Bites lately. Where have you been? In it, right? In it. Just had a fun optical illusion. I glanced away and the shadow on my face looked like one of those filters that made me look really old. I was like, wait, do I have an old filter on? No, I just looked that old this morning. Great, thank you. What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? The daytime goes. I know. I mean, honestly, that's part of why I live out in the woods where nobody can tell me what to do. I don't live with anybody because I'm like, stop asking things of me, especially as somebody who's always been of service. It's still difficult for me to put up a boundary and say no when I genuinely am like, well, I've got space to help you. Sure. And then my schedule and everything gets filled up and, learning to leave space in my day and in my life for not only my mindfulness practices, but for self-care and for downtime. And I'm like, wait a minute, I need all day. I don't know what you guys are talking about. I need all day. Self-care, meditation, downtime, play, fun things for me, feeding myself, bathing myself, taking my mindfulness practices. I think I need all day. I don't know how you guys do it. You need to go live in the woods too? You have a hard time saying no. Exactly. I think I really so I've got a little extra space here, right? This summer we were renting out the RV and for this winter I was actually kept tossing around in my head how I should rent it out as like a silent retreat sort of deal. It's going to snow here. It gets to be wet and, chilly, but it's not terrible and it's still really nice to walk through the woods and we're right by the river, which is raging right now. Anyway, I was like, man, I would totally take somebody up on that. Like a week to go stay in the RV by myself without really any much interaction, maybe even offer guided meditation while they're here. And then you can walk yourself down to the river and back. And when you feel like it with minimal interaction and just chill time, take care of yourself and walk through the woods, walk to the river every day. Let's go stand in the rain. That's exactly why I took physical distance, because I struggled to set the boundaries. It's that thing that I remember somebody saying to me when I was a teenager, was that make sure that at some point in your life, it doesn't matter when it is, it doesn't have to be before you get married or after, whatever, some point in your life, spend a year living by yourself, without anybody else in your space, and see what happens. And it took me years to be able to finally do that. And when I finally did that, I was like, whoa, I have habits that aren't even mine. I have daily habits that aren't even mine. Whoa, where did that come from? Hey, only love is real. You need to escape. It sounds like heaven. Come on up. Come on up. I don't know if I'll put it on Airbnb. I did think about, because Airbnb has the experiences, so I did think about actually seeing if anybody would take me up on a week-long retreat and daily morning meditation. Just join me for my morning meditation. I'm happy to guide, and maybe an evening yoga flow. I don't know. We can talk about it. I'll make a little package. So, good morning, hello, hello. For those of you who are new here, my name is Deborah. I am a reverend and a movement facilitator. And this is dog hair on my black shirt. This is our Bhakti Bites class. Bhakti means devotion. So devotion to what? Devotion to self-care. Because as we were just talking about, many of us struggle to fit our self-care in our day. And sometimes we have this misconception that it has to be a lot of self-care. We categorize self-care as like a big separate thing that we have to take time away from our day, away from our life to practice. When in reality, self-care can come in the tiniest of moments, over and over and over again during our day. And ideally, that's how self-care really should look. Moment to moment, taking those moments in between the other moments, right? To pause, to rest, to breathe, to check in and go, what's next? Am I ready for what's next, or do I need to redirect, right? Increasing our awareness, increasing our experience of time, so that we can make healthier decisions for ourselves, for our lives, and ultimately for those around us. Because when we do that for ourselves, that trickles down, spreads out to the people in our lives. And Billy, yeah, I know that I had to go through physical therapy a couple of times in my life. And I remember that experience too, where self-care became a 24/7 chore. It wasn't the little thing that I could do like this. It was like, no, I had to literally stop my life to go and do these exercises and go and do these practices and going to these, the appointments and the whatnot. And that is a lot more taxing. But hopefully, right, with this physical therapy, at least the outcome hopefully is healing. So, and we have tiny yoga tomorrow morning. Are you going to be there for tiny yoga, Billy? You're getting through it. I know it's a lot of work, my friend. I know. So, have you guys continued with your mudra this week? Your Bhramara Mudra. Okay, so the Bhramara Mudra Bhramara actually translates to bee, which I find interesting that there's a male and a female in the Sanskrit term for bee, and this particular is the male bee. And then today we're going to include a pranayama practice that is the female bee, interestingly enough. So, your Bhramara Mudra is done simply by tucking your pointer finger into the crook, the base of your thumb there, nice and tight. Don't put too much pressure on it. We're not trying to pop our fingers or hurt our fingers, right? So go ahead and curl your pointer finger in. This is your air finger. So air can cause disruption, chaos, separation, lots of mental activity, loss of anxiety. All of these things come from the air element in the body. So what we're doing is we are curtailing that energy to create harmony within the energy body. So go ahead and curl that pointer finger in, and then after you curl that pointer finger in, touch your thumb to your middle finger, nice and gentle. Remember, no more than the weight of a nickel on any of these. So you're not holding your finger down with your thumb. You're tucking your finger in and letting your finger stay where it lays. If you can't quite get here, that's okay. No, it's not supposed to hurt. So if this hurts, back off a little bit. And if this is as far as you can get with your finger curled in a little bit and you can't get it any tighter than that, or it hurts to get it any tighter than that, then leave it like that. You're still doing the same thing. It's still the same intention. And it will still have the same effect, okay? So the other two fingers on the hand can just rest naturally. I like to extend them. For me, it's how I enjoy doing the mudra. So find what works for you. Get your pointer finger in there, touch your thumb to your middle, and do what you will with those other two fingers. Grab that mudra on both hands. This is called the Bhramara Mudra and is placed palms up in the lap for meditation. I would say that during your day, so this mudra is cultivates harmony in the energy body. But it also addresses, it supports the immune system, and particularly addresses immune overreaction. So when we have things like allergies, hay fever, seasonal stuff, runny nose, sore throat, issues with the ears, issues with the thyroid, this Bhramara Mudra affects all of those, balances all of those things out, soothes allergic reactions or excessive immune reactions, histamine reactions, even topical on the skin, eyes, that kind of stuff, as well as internal. So this is a really nice mudra. Good morning, Ryan. This is a really nice mudra for this time of year in general. And if you're using it as an acute treatment for something like a runny nose or a physical expression of a reaction, it's recommended that you do this at least 3 to 5 times per day, holding it at least 5 minutes. With most mudras, you want to hold them at least 5 minutes. So we're going to move into a meditation here. We're going to hold them for probably 5 to 15 minutes, maybe, and then we're gonna practice some Bhramari pranayama to balance out, to add more harmony. Okay, so go ahead and grab your mudra. Find yourself a comfortable seated position. You can be seated, you can be lying down. If you're driving a car, please don't close your eyes. If you're operating heavy machinery, please make sure that you are doing so safely while you enjoy your meditation. You can sit here with your eyes open and listen in, and I promise you will catch some of this good vibe. If you can get your hands into the mudra, you're going to feel that positive benefit from this mudra provides. So let's begin by taking 3 deep breaths to fully arrive for our practice. Seal the lips, inhale through the nose, pulling the breath through the lungs and into the belly. And sigh it out. Inhale again, lifting the heart and elongating the spine. And let it go. Once more, inhaling to expand the rib cage in all directions, front, sides, and back. And release. Now we're going to follow the breath. Remember, the most important part of meditation is your intention and your attention. Right now, your intention is simply to follow the breath. Follow the inhale all the way to the top, and follow the exhale all the way to the bottom. Take your time, slowly elongating your breath. Allowing the inhale to align your body, and allowing the exhale to release any tension. Keeping the lips sealed, breathing only through the nose now. Gently holding your mudra. Just following the breath, inhaling all the way to the top. And exhaling all the way to the bottom. Take several more breaths here. And if any distractions, thoughts, sensations, things outside of yourself, within yourself, any of these try to pull you away, simply bring your attention back to the practice. No shame, no blame, no judgment, no argument. Just redirect. Gently refocus on the inhale and the exhale. Gently refocus. Gently bring your attention back to the breath. If you would like to build on your practice, I invite you to add a mantra here. On the inhale, saying to yourself quietly in your mind, so, and on the exhale, saying to yourself, hum. Begin with just the silent mantra. Inhaling so, exhaling hum. Silently to yourself. If you would like to build on your practice further, you can go ahead and continue with the silent so on the inhale, and on the exhale, let out an audible nice soothing hum, just the same as the sound of a happy little bee doing its little bee thing. Inhale that silent so, following the breath all the way to the top. And exhale with several more breaths. As you continue inhaling that silent so, exhaling an audible hum, notice the effect of that hum on your exhale. How soothing, how comforting, almost tingling, harmonizing that energy is. Take a few more breaths and we will move to our pranayama practice. Now continuing to breathe. You can continue with your hum if you'd like, if you can still hear me. To do our Bhramara Pranayama, you'll go ahead and release the mudra. If you can follow along by your voice, that's fine, just listen. If not, go ahead and open your eyes and check out how we're going to put our hands for the Bhramara Mudra. The Bhramara Pranayama is done by placing both hands over your face. You begin by putting your pointer finger above your brow. Thank you, Jersey Moon. Then your middle fingers at the base of your eyes. These will hold your eyelids closed really gently. And then you place your ring finger at the sides of your nose and your pinky fingers at the sides of your mouth. So again, those middle fingers are going to hold your eyes closed here, and you're going to place your thumbs in your ears. For Bhramara, we close off our senses here. We take a big, deep breath in, and then we shut the ears, and we exhale with a strong, audible, even a forceful hum all the way to the end of the exhale. Inhale, big deep breath in. If you got it, please continue. If not, we're going to go over the hand position again here really quick. Go ahead and please keep inhaling and exhaling that nice, strong exhale, hum of the bee. If you need the mudra again, if you need the hand position again, begin by putting your pinkies on the corner of your mouth, your ring finger on the corners of your nose, your middle finger at the base of your eyelids, holding your eyelids shut, and your pointer fingers over your eyebrows. Then place the thumbs in your ears, taking a big deep breath in, and with a long, steady exhale, nice, strong hum. Inhale, close the ears, and do a couple more if you can. Last one. Go ahead and release your hands, palms up or down on your lap, and just pause for a moment. I invite you to notice the sensations created by the Bhramara practice. Bhramara is exceptionally useful for balancing, harmonizing the body and the energy body, as well as working on the thyroid, the neck, any kind of head issues, headaches, eye issues, ear issues, anything going on above the shoulders. Bhramara is really soothing for that. Even when the mind gets, especially when the mind gets a bit chaotic, Bhramara is a really soothing practice to help quiet the mind. Just take a couple of breaths here. Since we are invoking the bee with these practices, I invite you to notice where you feel physically any buzzing sensation in your body. Maybe in your head, your hands, your chest, maybe somewhere else in your body. Just notice without story or judgment. And once that buzzing sensation has dissipated, you are welcome to either return to your practice, either with the meditation and the simple so-hum breath, or to the Bhramara pranayama with the buzzing bee, humming bee exhale. Otherwise, if you feel complete, I invite you to bring your hands together or simply lay one over the other over your heart in gratitude for today's practice. In gratitude for these magnificent meat bags we have, that we are able to adjust, heal, align with these simple practices. Offer yourself a little gratitude for taking the time for self-care today. You know you are abso-fucking-lutely worth it. And I'm so proud of you for taking these few minutes just for you. Thank you so much for joining me for meditation. When you are ready to come out, please do so slowly. Offer yourself some wiggles, some stretches, only opening your eyes when you're really ready to come back to the world. No. No. No, 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 no. Okay. Okay. Gigi. I like this one a lot. Feels good. Peaceful. Love the humming. Yeah. So we're going to go over those mudras again really quick. Hey, Tripstar. Oh, good, Billy. How are we feeling? Real good. Did you just roll in? We just finished with our meditation and our pranayama practice. So we're going to go over it really quick one more time. Our mudra for this week is the Bhramara Mudra and is done by tucking your pointer finger into the base of your thumb and gently touching your thumb to your middle finger and then allowing these two fingers to either extend or just relax. You can even hold them together. It doesn't really matter what you're doing with these ones. This is the focus of the mudra. So we do this. This is a Bhramara Mudra. And with the Bhramara Mudra, we simply follow the breath, inhaling, exhaling. This creates more harmony. This affects, balances the immune system, especially histamine reactions and whatnot. If you have a runny nose or a sore throat, this is a really good one to treat that acute situations. If that's the case, please hold it for at least 5 minutes, 3 to 5 times a day. There is not any contraindication that I'm aware of for this mudra, but if any of these mudras ever don't feel good when you're practicing them, please stop practicing them. Trust your body, trust where you're at, and honor where you're at. So that is our mudra for the week, the Bhramara Mudra. And it's done with both hands and can be held kind of anywhere in meditation. Typically, we just lay it in our lap, right? But if you're out and about and you've got a runny nose and you just want to hold on to this one, the other day, Tuesday, I was holding on to this one much of the day. I just had it in my hand here. It's actually kind of a nice comfy, for me, it's a nice comfy spot to sit. So we did that, our Bhramara Mudra, and then we added Bhramari Pranayama. Bhramari Pranayama actually uses what's called the Shanmukhi Mudra. Yes, build the foundations within and the without. So our Bhramari Mudra is done by Bhramari Pranayama uses the Shanmukhi Mudra. The Shanmukhi Mudra offers us a sensory deprivation tank with our hands. So basically what you do is you place your pinky fingers at the corner of your mouth. You place your ring fingers at the corner of your nose here. Your middle fingers are going to lay gently over your eyelashes, really kind of holding down your eyelids. And then your pointer finger is going to go above your brow or over the top of your eye, wherever is comfortable for you up here. And then your thumbs are going to close your ears. And with Bhramari Pranayama, we place our hands in the Shanmukhi Mudra. We inhale with our ears open. And then close for a nice, long, full exhale hum. Keeping your ears closed, inhale again, filling your lungs with a long, steady hum. Following the exhale all the way to the end. I invite you to experiment with the Bhramari too, with the degree to which you're humming. Hey, tapping point, my friend. Byron, the play with your hum. You might find that sometimes the really forceful, like, is what you need. And you might find other times all you really need is a nice, gentle, and you might find you start with one and finish with another. And that's okay too. So again, this is about honoring where you're at, taking these practices and using them in a way that feels soothing and helpful and supportive to you. If these practices do not suit you, if there's something that feels contrary about these practices, do not use them. There are countless tools out there, including my friend tapping here, right? Actually, let me throw you a shout out because I really, really, really love your content. I love your lives, guys. If you do not yet follow my friend Byron here at the Tapping Point, please do so. He does tapping live on a regular basis. And also created a really cool filter that shows you where to tap. I forgot about your filter until it came up just recently in my stuff. And I was like, oh, that's right. I got to find that filter again. So please give them a follow. More tools there, right? And this is why we all come together here. This is why we share what we have. This is why this is why we're sharing, is because I've got tools that work for some people. Byron's got tools that work for some people. Some people like both tools. Some people don't like either tools, and they got to go find the other person that's got different tools, right? Different strokes for different folks. We are all unique beings with unique needs. Some we share. And sometimes what we need is so different from everybody else around us. I think those are the moments when we really, really need to honor what we need and where we're at. Some people don't have to say a word. The TikTok Mystic School. I love that. I was just saying recently how grateful I am for this platform, because for so many years I had the experience of trying to communicate these things to people about energy work. I've been working with energy since I was a kid. I had my first knock on the door, time to wake up, when I was about 7. And so at that age, trying to talk to people about God, about source, about energy, about breath, about, I understood, as many children do, I understood a lot of these things very naturally. And I was blessed with a mother who taught me a lot of these things too, and talked to me about them and was able to help me explore them. But I did have the experience for many, 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 many years of just being like, oh no, that's too woo woo. Oh, you're nuts. There's all sorts of different reactions that people would, but they were always like this. We don't talk about that stuff. We don't want to have those conversations. Even my mother would say, don't tell them, don't talk to people about it. I'm like, but we can literally align our bodies with our hands. I'm not supposed to tell anybody about that? Why the fuck not? Right? It's like you hear Byron going tap, tap, tap. It's like, this is so simple. Why are we not sharing these tools with people? Shh, don't share those tools. Or put them behind a really expensive paywall so that only the people with the biggest biggest wallets can access these tools, right? Because they are elite tools. They are exclusive, only available to those. Sorry. I got a thing with gatekeeping sometimes. Yes, it's good to have exchange. Yes, it's important for us, especially as practitioners, to do that, to cultivate that exchange, right? But I have always felt I've always struggled to charge for my practices, for the things that I do, because I feel like they should be accessible to everyone. They should be available to everyone. They should be taught when we are young, so that we can utilize them instead of seeking our balance and healing and adjustments all outside of ourselves, which oftentimes is not where they are. Yes, knowledge belongs to all humans. Yes. Ooh, I like the way you said that. Gatekeeping is a cultural sickness. Mia, welcome. I'm sorry to hear about that, friend, but we'll get you back on your feet, yeah? Get back on your feet. In person is the only real way of healing. Jersey Moon, yes. You want a tapping temple? Oh my gosh, I love that. Sorry, I'm just catching up on comments here. Too bad everyone hides behind the screen. I know, Jersey Moon, we talk a lot about in-person stuff, and I agree. I really prefer in-person work, right? We talked about energy work. As an energy worker, in-person is always that much more powerful. Yes, we can totally do distance energy work, but there is a palpable difference to actually being in the room. And in person is ideal. And I guess it seems that many of us are, and Ryan, I know that you'll relate to this one, right? Many of us are seemingly in waiting. Like, we've been called to remove ourselves from the society at large. What were we talking about at the very beginning? Needing to be by ourselves to practice self-care, to heal ourselves, to find our own rhythms, to soothe so that we don't overextend ourselves, so that the universe, so that not the universe, so that others, so that life stops begging so much of us. And yes, part of that is being able to set healthy boundaries. But for me, it really was removing myself from the larger society and the ills that, the dis-eases that plague it. And by doing so, really have afforded myself a great deal of healing. So it's kind of this really interesting balance that we have to strike, right? I would prefer to be in person. And there are ways here in this tiny little town, I'm cultivating that. But being able to use the screen to reach countless more people still feels terribly effective. And I really, really love, thanks, Byron. I really, really love the opportunity to do both, and as we grow and as we connect, the truth is that time and space are relative. Yes. So yes, in person is best, but also we can connect through over space and time. Hey Mel, how are you? Over space and time. I do feel like these screens, the black mirrors here, there is something lost in translation. That I know for sure. It's not ideal. But when we're all hiding away in our bunkers, preparing for the thing that's happening next, right? We've got to use telegrams. There's no other way to communicate unless we're going to tap in psychically and meet each other on the mountain in the ether, right? Yes, Byron, time and space are illusions. Because of the proximity of the physica, we feel it more powerfully. Yes. And there are, Jersey Moon, yes, you do point, there's too many fake light on social media, which deters. So we were talking about this the other day too, about how the fad, right? The cool thing is it's popular, it's cool, it's fad-ish right now, right? And everybody wants to learn Reiki and do Reiki and read your charts and tell you which crystals and wear crystals and do all the things, right? And that's great, right? Because honestly, fads like that, sure, there's a degree of people who are going to take it and it's just going to be totally falsified. That's just natural. But there are many, 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 many other people who are actually benefiting from the fad, right? Benefiting from it being kind of cool to be witchy and woo-woo and all that. And And like I said, I really felt many, many years, I felt like there was do you guys remember Beetlejuice? Remember in Beetlejuice where he puts that metal plate over her mouth, like towards the end of it or whenever, I forget what part of the movie, but he like slaps a metal plate on her mouth. I loved that movie. And so much of my time in my teen years, in my 20s even, I felt like I had a metal plate over my mouth. And anytime I would try to talk to somebody about energy work, or I would talk to somebody about their chakras, or I would see something in somebody's aura, or I would fucking channel a message to somebody and I'd start talking to them about this. And the response was like they didn't understand the words that were coming out of my mouth. And that was a very distinct experience for most of my life. And that shifted. That shifted when this became cool, right? Because people are interested in hearing about it. They want to know about it. And it's funny because for me, I had the realization that that was being in waiting. That was cultivating my inner practice, my inner understanding, my inner knowing, my higher knowing, so that by the time that dam broke and it was time to fucking speak up, I was like, bro, I've been doing this for like 20 years. Okay, sweet. Now we can talk about it. Now I've got all kinds of shit to tell you. Mel, what advice would I give to somebody burnt out? Like physiologically, you feel like you've lost faith in... Like you've lost faith just in general, just being burnt out. Self-care. I know it seems cliche, but what were you saying at the very beginning here? We were talking about how when we're really burnt out, right? When you're really maxed out, it takes more than a 5-minute meditation every day. We want to infuse our life, our days, so... What's the word I'm looking for? I see the image in my head of like the spider web of self-care, like, or the vines of self-care weaving through the day, wrapping themselves around every activity that I do, every dish, every discussion with my son, every sweeping the floor, every taking out the trash, every meal I cook is turned into a mindfulness practice. This is the thing that saved me from burnout. This is the thing that, here's a little... A little side story here, right? I came out of a really, really terrible, let's just put it that way. It was just a really terrible situation about 2 years ago. And I was completely maxed out. I wasn't, every single day I woke up was not what I wanted to be doing. I did not want to be waking up every day. I did not. And I was by myself with my son and I had to, right? But I was completely maxed out and completely overwhelmed and completely drained and doubting myself and deeply depressed. And anyway, so I just started weaving mindfulness into absolutely everything, from paying attention to my breath all day long. And at first it was like I put rings on my finger because for me, the path that I have walked much of my life have been the Eightfold Path of yoga, the Vedic sciences of the Eightfold Path, right? So I put these 8 copper rings on my finger last year to remind myself every moment of every day that this was my commitment to integrate these mindful practices. And it took me months to even get back on my yoga mat, right? So it's not like I was like, I'm going to spend 24/7 doing yoga and doing these big practices. No, it was when I did my dishes, I put all of my attention into my dishes. I could smell the soap, feel the water and warmth and soap on my hands, feel the grainy versus smooth, make it a very sensory, entirely absorbed experience. When I was walking from one place to another, I would touch my fingers to my thumb as I slowly walked and felt the bottom of my feet touching the ground. And as I listened to my breath while I walked, right? These little tiny practices you can do when you're doing everything else. You can drive your car and breathe on purpose. You can cook a meal and bring your attention back to the food over and over and over again. When your brain runs off and it's telling you about how exhausted you are, or bitching at you about this thing you forgot, or somebody else is trying to pull your attention away, right? We just bring our attention back again, just like in meditation. The most important part of mindfulness is your intention and your attention. That's all mindfulness is your intention and your attention. Take your attention back. It belongs to you. Put it only where you really want to put it. And that's going to take some time to figure out where that goes, right? But for me personally, that was the most powerful thing I did to pull myself out of that place. Intention and attention, exactly. Bring those things into your day-to-day, because what happens, Byron, as we were talking about, right? Time and space are relative. They're an illusion. So when you start to bring your attention back to the present moment, how little time we spend in the present moment. I guarantee you guys, not challenge you. I invite you to take this practice, every one of you in here, take this practice for the rest of the week and see until what's our next Bhakti Bites is on Saturday, right? So take this practice today until Saturday and just see how many ways you can bring your attention back to the present moment. How many ways you can bring your attention and set your intention and bring your attention back to it over and over and over again. And watch how many times a day you're catching yourself somewhere else. In the past, in the future, in the possibilities of whenever, in an imaginary conversation with somebody that you've never had or maybe even never will have, and arguing with somebody else or with yourself. Like, there are so many things that pull us out of the present moment. When you start doing this, you go, oh my gosh, I'm really not present. But when you start to do that, when you start to bring yourself back to the present moment, your quality of time changes. Because when we're elsewhere and we're not noticing what happens, our day is leaving us. Our experiences are happening in the present moment. Our real reality is happening right here, right now. And we're not even fucking here. We're over there. We're over there. And then when something triggers us in that moment, in the present moment, in the here and now, we are less able to be responsible with our reaction. Your response ability is really just your ability to respond. And if you are off somewhere else, your ability to respond to the present moment is limited. We just get so lost in the within and the without. Wu wei, yeah. We can. So I invite you to use that practice. Because over time, what it started to do was change my quality of time. And when it changed my quality of time, it changed my experience of here and now. And when it changed my experience of here and now, I became more responsible, more able to respond in the moment. And so those overwhelmed feelings started to fall away, started to reduce, because I was able to respond rather than feeling inundated, bombarded, or even attacked by my present moment, by my present experience and the people and the situations in my present experience. I'm not going to share stuff with you guys that I don't believe in. I'm not going to share stuff with you guys that hasn't already worked for me. It would be disingenuous to do so. And I'm here really to just share with you guys the things that have changed my life. Because I've been there. I've been on the bottom. I've been ready to check out. I've been in head to toe physical pain. I've been in excruciating emotional pain. I've been locked out, left out, shut down, right? The path is not always smooth. And they say to know the light, you must know the darkness as well, right? To know both the yin and the yang, the masculine and the feminine, the light and the dark, that the full experience is within the experience of both. And before I took to mindfulness practices, I got diagnosed with things because I was feeling things, big things, little things. When I was a kid, I would go to the doctor and I would ask the doctor what these tiny little things were, because I could lay in bed and I could feel my lungs expanding and contracting. I could feel my heart lifting and falling. I could hear my heart when I laid there in bed. I could feel the muscle roll around the back of my calf while I was laying there not moving. I felt like my body was alive within me. And I went to the doctor and I said, what is it? And he goes, just your body. It's just your body doing body things. No, but I want to know what those things are because I feel them. You're crazy for feeling them. Nobody feels them. You can't feel that. No, but I can. No, no. That whole. What I discovered through mindfulness practice was that all of those little things were these tiny little communications. Tiny little messages. Tiny little adjustments. My body, my mind, my emotions, my spirit, my energy body, right? All these parts of me doing minor adjustments. That's what we learn in yoga when you're doing asanas. You seek those minor adjustments to really find alignment. You can get into warrior two pose and you can hold, boom, warrior two. But when you sink into the asana and make those tiny adjustments, that's where we often find alignment. And it's in those tiny little adjustments where we realize where we hold our tension, where we hold our sadness, where we hold our discomfort and our fear. And when we pay attention to those feelings where they are when they come up, if you know where it is, you can treat it much better than if you're like, I don't know where this is coming from. I'm just overwhelmed. But I've been there too. I'm just overwhelmed. I don't have any answers. Because when we're overwhelmed, this part of the brain shuts down and this part of the brain is all we got. So we go into like survival mode. And when you're in survival mode so much, you have chronic tension, chronic pain in your body. Somebody in here earlier mentioned the fascia, right? We keep even your skin. You know that tension can cause you to tighten your skin? Maybe that's why we end up so wrinkly when we're overstressed and whatnot. We're holding it way too tight for too long. But that was me. My stress level reached such a peak that I started having seizures. I had 2 strokes back to back with a couple of seizures mixed in there over just over the course of 2 years. As my levels of stress and dissociation, dis-ease peaked. Fucked up my brain. Stress fucked up my brain. I am not as quick and witty as I used to be. Which is fine. Because I'm more peaceful. Am I saying the stroke gave that to me? I don't know. But now to speak, sometimes I need to pause, to listen, to allow the truth and the true words and what I really mean to bubble up within me. It doesn't just come out of my mouth anymore. So maybe there was a benefit there. I love you guys. So, mindfulness. This is why we do Bhakti Bites. This is why Bhakti Bites are these quick little sessions of self-care, right? Because mindfulness is something that we can weave into every moment. The breath is your anchor. The senses are your anchor. Mm-hmm. And when we find ourselves somewhere else, we don't judge, we don't shame, we don't blame, we don't create an argument, we don't create a story about why we were pulled away and why we were spending so much time over there in the past about this thing. We just gently bring our attention back to the present moment. The time for like shame and blame and judgment and yelling at yourself it's so overrated, okay? That's so pre-2020. Quit yelling at yourself, please. Don't talk to my friend like that. It is time for you to show up for you in the way that you deserve. Because ultimately you are your own guru, right? You are the one leading yourself from darkness to light. You are the one, speaking of light, you are the one that has to integrate these tools. You are the one that when you're sitting there doing your dishes has to first notice that you're off somewhere else, and then has to say, okay, I'm going to bring my attention back. What am I going to use to bring my attention back? Well, how about the smell of the dishes? Oh, that dish smells disgusting. Why did I think of that? Ah, shit, right? It does not always going to go smoothly. It's not always going to be perfect. I mean it, Mel. Don't talk to my friend like that. I love you and you deserve better. I love you and you deserve the best. If I could do that for you, if I could put a little new SD card in your brain holes and give you a new self-talk programming, right? Inner monologue, I'd totally do it for you. I would. But the reality is, and the trick of this illusion, the trick of this matrix is it has to be you. It has to be you. Sometimes we want to communicate with our higher self and spirit guides. Yes, of course. Often we do, right? And to do that, we've got to be present in the moment enough to hear what we're talking about, those minor inner things, right? You've got to be able to hear those things. Those sometimes our guides don't always speak to us in words in our brain or in our ears, right? Sometimes they speak to us by poking us in the side. I used to have this very, very direct experience or visceral experience. And I eventually found that it was my guides. I sat in a meditation with them and I finally asked. But anyway, I was having this experience like somebody was pushing on my face. Like I would be going to drive somewhere to go do something. It was about work. I had this job that was really draining me. It was really terrible for me. And I would get in my car and I would automatically start feeling anxiety. And as I was driving to work, I swear to you, it felt like somebody had their hand right there and was pushing my head to the extent that sometimes like I could feel just the pressure. And I was like, gosh, that's so weird. But then sometimes it would hit me in this way that I was like, Jesus, I'm trying to drive here. I can't drive if you're hitting my head. But as soon as I realized that that job was the source of me feeling anxiety and draining, and I changed what I was doing, that stopped. And there have been a handful of times in my life where that has come back. And that was the time when I realized what it was. And since I felt it before, when I feel it after, I'm like, oh, okay, I get you. You like, this is like a, cut it out. Whatever you're doing, cut it out. Oh, I miss you, Mel. Mel, you're going to hack your people pleasing and tell yourself, hey, I'm Rev Deb's friend. Yes. Yes. I love it. I have had people who, thanks, Driftstar, they speak to you through light language. Yep, that's one of the many ways they communicate. And isn't it beautiful, right? That we all have our unique way of interacting with them. Yeah. Ah, you too, Ryan. That said, if you guys, apparently my voice tends to stick in brains. So if you need my voice, you need to borrow my voice and keep it in a little box here in case you need me to tell you and remind you of things. I have a couple of good friends that I've had for years, and they go, it's the weirdest thing. It's your fucking voice in my head, reminding me to like breathe, reminding me to, I have this one beautiful, beautiful friend of mine, a very earthbound energy, right? And he was always looking down at his feet. And at the time in my life, I was always looking up at the stars. And it was funny because he would trip over his feet constantly. And he was like, well, that's why I'm looking at my feet, because I'm always falling down. He was very, like, again, earthbound, clumsy kind of person. And I was like, just try looking up. So I'd remind him all the time. I'd find him looking at his feet and I'd tap him and be like, look up. And when he would look up, he didn't trip. I don't know what it was. Why staring at his feet made him trip. But he said that since that experience with me, he's like, I still have your voice in my head going, hey, look up. So if you need it, here you go. Here's a little version of me. So, oh, look at that. It's 10 o'clock. Okay. So just FYI today, guys, I do have coaching by donation going on this afternoon. It's from 2 to 4 Pacific time. And you can sign up for that at movewithchange.com. If you have any questions about it, feel free to just message me here. If you subscribe here on TikTok, you get a month free at our community over at Move with Change. So just FYI, just so you guys know, you've seen a brand change happening right now. We did a brand change earlier this year. As life evolves and grows around me, it's really beautiful and exponentially abundant. So it's really wonderful. But that brand change is happening. So what we're going to be doing basically is for the rest of December, Bhakti Bites, Tiny Yoga, Bhakti Bites and Tiny Yoga will continue to be external public classes. After the new year, those classes will go into Move with Change. They will be internal classes only available to my members. I will have some stuff here that I will do as well, but I will also be putting on, hey, Ashley, speaking of members, I will also be putting on my chakra workshop again early next year. And we have some really cool new things coming out as well, new classes and new things that I get to announce next year. Thank you so much, Tripstar. So those are all really exciting things. There's an opportunity right now. Like I said, if you subscribe here on TikTok, you'll get a month free over at Move with Change while we are waiting to cultivate that stuff. So you won't pay for a membership until we actually have the classes in there. And FYI, as a member, you guys also get a weekly group coaching session that happens every single week. It's a 2-hour session. You can pop in whenever you want to and gather together for coaching, right? Free coaching. Or included coaching, right? So this afternoon is coaching by donation. And again, coaching by donation is an event that I have set up over on Move with Change. And you could just buy a ticket for whatever price you want to pay for it. I think I had to set a minimum, so it's $1 minimum. But besides that, just $1 works. Whatever works for you. And then those are 10 to 15-minute sessions. Again, it's kind of my save up project during this time of year so that folks who need a check-in, need a balance. If you want to sit in meditation for 15 minutes, let's do it. If you want to vent for 50 minutes, let's do it. If you want to talk herbalism and nutrition and parenting or, energy work or do a dream journey or like whatever tool you need access to, let me know. What are the other things? Tomorrow morning is Tiny Yoga at 9 a.m. Pacific time. And then Saturday morning is our Bhakti Bites class. Oh, tomorrow night. That's right. Tomorrow night for subscribers. I have a subscriber only live tomorrow night. That's from 5 to 7 p.m. And we talk top 3 astrology. We're going to be... I think depending on who shows up, if it's the same folks, we can get a little deeper into your charts. If anybody new wants to join, we'll do your top 3 astrology. Your top 3 is your sun, your moon, and your rising, the trifecta, that kind of who you are, I guess. There's other influences in your chart, but those are usually the top 3 that you want to look at. Absolutely. And that's the point, Tripstar, is cultivating safe space. You guys see it cultivated here, and it gets to be even more, this over in Move with Change. I was like, I don't want to use protective. I don't want to use exclusive. I don't want to use, no. It's just more holding, more, yeah. So join us over there. When you subscribe, you get the link to download the app and you get a code for that month free over there. If you have any questions about working directly with me, going over to Move with Change about any of the services or things or classes or whatnot or shenanigans that I offer, feel free to send me a message. If you have any questions about things or just want to have a lively conversation about the topics, feel free to reach out to. I love you guys so much. Thank you so much for yet another great session. Please go to YouTube and follow my account as well over there. I'm putting replays and stuff up there as well. So in case you missed class or you missed the meditation or you missed the mudra today, it will be up there on YouTube probably later today. And we are at Move with Change on YouTube as well. Again, it's a small channel, I'm cultivating it right now, but I will be adding more and more replays and whatnot. Yeah. I love you guys. I hope you have a magnificent Thursday. And again, if you need coaching, let me know. Go over to Move a Change, buy yourself a ticket. There's a tab right at the top of the website that says Coaching by Donation. And there's also one that says Join Kaya Sangha. Kaya stands for Come As You Are. It is our general philosophy here and over there because we believe in the value that you bring, that is uniquely yours, that is in your authenticity when you show up authentically. And that's what we want. That's what we want. We want you to have a safe space where you can show up exactly as you are, exactly where you are, without judgment, without shame, and to be seen. Ashton, you're channeling my vibe. Thanks, friend. You missed the session? Yes, I will put it on YouTube, Ashley. So just go subscribe over there, and once it loads on TikTok and I can download it and upload it and do the thing, it will be up there on YouTube. So yeah. And if you just want to come to Coaching by Donation and do the meditation again with me today, or practice Bhramari Pranayama or Bhramara Mudra at Coaching by Donation, you can do that too. I'll be hanging out. Okay, guys. I love you so much. If you have any questions, as always, message me. If you want the perks and the special stuff and the subscriber-only things and the 1 month free and whatnot, subscribe here. You can subscribe when I'm not on a live by going to my profile, and there should be a link at the top there if you have any issues. Again, just send me a message. Okay, guys? I love you so much. Coaching by Donation, 2 to 4 p.m. Pacific time. I'll see you there. Love you.